Hi everybody, I'm recording this on my glasses. This is going to be another Android tutorial. I haven't done one of those for a while. And we'll cover various things such as putting somebody in your contacts and just depending on how much we have time for, maybe how to use the keyboard on your phone. If need be, I try to use mine as little as possible. But there are occasions when you need to use it, and how to edit if you make a mistake and stuff like that, and how to like scroll or read text on a page. And so those are my goals, but we'll see where rabbit holes or rabbit trails might take me. um, and I just wanted to encourage you to check out my recent videos. I did one about how to use YouTube on your PC. Just some tips and tricks that I have learned along the way to make it a little easier to navigate around there. And then another one I did was on the Be My Eyes app, how to create groups on there and use the groups for certain situations, like putting people that you know into a group and things like that. So I encourage you to check that out. And also, yeah, I've kind of been on a trek phase lately, I guess, but I will probably be doing another Lessons with Laura soon, because she's going to be teaching a basket weaving class and said that I could record some of that for you. So yeah, so that's what's coming up and some of the recent things that I have posted. And be sure to like and subscribe if you find any of this helpful. And with that, we'll get right into the content. So the first thing we're going to do is just create a fictitious person so that I can put them into my contacts. And before, the contacts were built right into the app, like your phone app or your messaging app, but now they have a separate app just for contacts. So the easiest way to find somebody in your contacts or to create a new contact is to actually go there. So I'm going to unlock my phone, then I'm going to go to Apps in the bottom right, and now I'm going to, my apps are in alphabetical order, so I know C for contacts is near the beginning of the alphabet, so I'm just going to put my finger up here, and I'm on Maps, so I'm just going to swipe left, and I don't have many apps on my screen, because most of them are hidden and whatnot. Just the ones I use a lot I have on here. Yeah, that's another thing I could actually do on here, how to sort apps and such. But okay, now I'm swiping right because I went left a little bit too far. Oh no. Oh, there it is. Contacts. I was afraid this, since my older phone, it might not be on here, but it is. Create contact. So once I double tapped on contacts, and then I did a swipe right, and it was right there. So it's like the first thing you'll encounter. Storage location. Save contact to. Drop down list. Pop-up window. Save contact to. Now it's asking me where I want to save it to. And I can put Google, because if I just choose phone, that means they would only save it to this phone, and if I like had to upgrade my phone, it wouldn't necessarily transfer over to my next one. But if I actually save it in my Gmail contacts, then it will always be on whatever device I'm on. They'll sync everywhere to all my devices, in other words. So and of course at the end I'm not going to hit the save button, so but this I'm just demonstrating, since this is just a make-believe person. I'm not going to actually do this, but I'm going to show you the process. So editing, it says name, so that's what I want to do. So I'm going to double tap there, and so it said US QWERTY shown. That means there's just a normal typewriter keyboard here, like where the keys are in the same order as they would be on a typewriter, and of course this is a lot harder when you first do it, but the more you practice, the faster and easier it gets. But you can have your phone set in different ways as far as how to use the keyboard. And I also have Gboard on here, which that might be what I have set to my default. But you can set it to where when you move your finger around the screen, like here, the keyboard is near the bottom, so I'm just gonna move my finger slowly. Like it knows that the first letter of somebody's name is usually capitalized, so it's just gonna go ahead and do that for me, so that I don't have to find the shift button or the shift key first and then the first letter. It will just automatically do the first letter for me.
Capital G, golf.
And so right now my finger moved across the letter G for golf.
Capital H, hotel.
And right next to G, of course, as you know if you're a typist at all, if you're familiar with the QWERTY keyboard, you know that H is next to G and so on and so forth. So you can have your keyboard set, which is how I used to have it, but like where if I, try to find that H again because I lifted my finger off.
Capital G, golf.
Oh, well there's G, that's good enough. So if I lifted my finger, it would input that letter, but now I have it in my settings to where it won't enter the key. It will just tell me what key my finger is on, but if I actually want to enter it into my whatever I'm typing, I just will double tap it, just like most other things is how you activate when you're a talkback user. You just double tap it. And so I like that better because sometimes I would like accidentally lift my finger or just for whatever reason not necessarily wanting it to enter that key. So I like it better when I can just like, so now even though I lifted my finger off of there, the last key that I was on is still selected. And I think I might have moved it again, but yeah, I had moved it over to the H again, but now I moved it back to G, but now I can take my finger off. But if I actually wanted to enter this G, I could just double tap anywhere on the screen basically and it would enter it. But we're going to say this person's name is Tom, and there is usually a voice input button on the keyboard, which is where you can just talk and it will like you can dictate it and it will type it out, but it probably isn't on here because they want to make sure that the name is spelled correctly, because otherwise if you just dictated the name talkback, the screen reader would have to or the phone would have to guess how to spell it, and some names don't have common spellings. So you actually do, like in a case like this, you would have to actually use the keyboard and not just go to the voice input button. And sometimes the voice input button, if it is on the screen, which I will demonstrate this later, but it might be down here on the bottom left, like near the comma and X and stuff, because some of those keys, punctuation keys, are a little different spot than they are on typewriter. And then or it's above the P sometimes, but right now it's not here, so I'm just going to, I know the T, about where the T is, so I'm just going to put my finger and see how close I get.
4.
That I was on the number 4, now I lifted my finger up though, so I'll have to start over. But, so I was pretty close. If I would have just moved down a little bit from the 4, I would have found it, but I'm going to, okay, now I'm at R, so I'm going to move right because I know that T is to the right of R on a typewriter. Oop, I went a little too far to the Y, so I backed up to the T. So now I know the T is selected, so I lifted up my finger, and now I'm just going to go ahead and double tap on T.
Suggestions available to access swipe up
there. And it said there's suggestions available, so I don't know if it's just going to guess some names, but I'm not really interested in that for this video. I just want to show you the basics, but it does come in handy when you have your autofill stuff, although sometimes it can be annoying because it will assume that you're typing something you're not, so that can be kind of a pain sometimes when you actually have to correct what it thinks it is. But so we made our T, now we're going to go to the,
H, hotel.
nope,
Uniform.
U,
I,
I,
O,
O.
Oscar.
So now I found O, so I'm going to go double tap on that.
O,
Now I'm going to look for M,
space bar.
that space bar, so I'm going to put my finger up above that. It said V, Victor,
B, Bravo.
B,
N,
N,
M,
M.
M.
So now we have written TOM for Tom. So now I could hit the space bar, and
Tom.
now I could write their last name, but I don't need to. Like if I only know one person named Tom, I can just say Tom, because that's easier than having to type out a last name. Or I could put their initial if I knew more than one or whatever, but yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead now and go to the next field. So how I do that is I kind of have to put my finger up above this QWERTY keyboard.
Capital I, India. Save window, edit contact.
Okay,
Cancel.
and I put it right on save,
Save.
but I'm gonna swipe left now to just show you what else there is here. So
Cancel.
cancel, and I could put in their email address here,
Phone.
and their phone.
Show detailed name fields. Editing, Tom, name. Show detailed name fields.
Yeah, and the
Phone.
show detailed name fields,
Show detailed name
that would
fields.
be like if you wanted to put their middle name or however else you wanted, like maybe a nickname. I'm not going to bother with that right now because like I said, I don't want to overwhelm. I just want to give you the most important details here. So anyway, so I went above like probably around the 4 or 5, I think, and that's where I had found the save. But then I swept left, so
Email.
yeah, like email.
Cancel. Email. Select group groups.
I'm just trying to decide if I want to put in their email because that would be another thing that you can't really do using a voice input button. But I think as a new user, you probably wouldn't type in their email. But I will be probably at some point doing more advanced videos where we dig into some of the settings and stuff like that too. But these first tutorials, I'm trying to focus on like an older person or somebody who's newly blind or somebody that isn't very tech savvy or has never used a touch screen before. So
View more button. Select group groups. View more. Cancel.
okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, but if yeah, I would actually want to put in their phone number.
View more. Select email. Phone.
Phone.
Phone. Keyboard shown. Editing phone. 5. Windows
Okay,
2.
so when I go to the phone number option, it is no longer a QWERTY keyboard. It has now changed into like where you have 1, 2, 3 on the first row, and then 4, 5, 6 underneath and stuff like that. But it works the same way. I can just find whatever key I want and then double tap it. So that is how that would work, but I'm not going to do that right now.
Select group groups. Window, edit contact. Email. Add phone number.
So,
remove phone number. Editing phone.
but you can like add more than one phone number or remove a phone number here
Select phone number.
and
Type
stuff like that.
Detailed name field. Tom, name.
Okay, so but I am going to go back to the
Tom.
name button, and I am going to put
Show detailed name. Editing. Tom, name.
yeah, I might as well just show you some of the other features here. I was going to do this a different way, like write a message, but I might as well just do it here in the name field while I'm here. So
Recent window navigation bar. Comma. Windows Samsung keyboard. Symbols.
yeah, I'm on the bottom row now of the QWERTY keyboard, And first you have symbols, and then next to that is the comma,
Capital Z. Zulu.
and then next to that is
Capital X.
Z,
Capital C.
X, C, etc. So yeah, those other buttons, the symbols and the comma, were there,
Space bar.
and
Symbols. Space bar.
sometimes the at key is down there too. But another way to get to the at, like for typing somebody's email address, for example, I'm gonna go to this.
Symbols. Select group groups.
So
Cancel.
yeah,
Emojis
just
button. Windows Samsung keyboard.
um,
Translate button.
yep. And then above like the number, because now that we're on back to the QWERTY keyboard, there are numbers
4.
on the top row of the QWERTY keyboard that go 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And above those is
Emojis button.
where you would have emojis if you want to put some kind of emoji in there,
Translate button.
or translate
Cancel window edit contact.
and
Clipboard button.
cancel or edit
Settings button.
contact. So that's where all those options would be. But going back to the bottom here, I'm gonna
Window navigation
hit this
Windows
symbols.
Samsung keyboard. Emojis button. Comma. Recent window navigation bar. Text. Windows Samsung keyboard. Open channel for BIM.
Okay, and now where it said symbols before, it now says text. So I can, whenever I want to go back to the normal QWERTY keyboard, I will double tap on that again to get back to my regular text keyboard. But the symbols keyboard
Emojis button. Windows Samsung 2.
is, you can, there's the number row is still there in the same spot, but below the number row, instead of it being like your Q and W and E and all QUERTY etc. Instead of that, below the number row is going to be plus, multiplication sign, division, equals, slash, underscore, less than, greater than,
Left square bracket.
square bracket, and right square bracket,
Right left square bracket. Right square bracket. Right paren.
and then right paren.
Asterisk. Greater than sign.
Or no, that's, I accidentally moved down a row. So below all that then is going to be like what you would get if you hit shift with your numbers, like exclamation mark, of course, is the shift for 1, so it's going to be that, and then the at sign would be here. That's another way you can get to it. And then pound for number 3, the shift for 3, but they just have them all here so that you don't have to worry about your shift key. And then below that row, you have your dash, apostrophe, quote, colon, semicolon, comma, question mark, backspace. Wow, I don't think I'm going to get as much done on this video as I thought, but I want to be as thorough as possible without like being too thorough and digging too deep, so that's kind of a hard balance to achieve sometimes. But I'm going to go ahead and hit the text button to get back to my normal QWERTY keyboard. And here you do have, like I showed you, the comma was here as well, just in a different spot. It was to the bottom left, and then but the period is below the yeah, it's your space bar is on the bottom row, and your the period is to the right of that same row where the space bar is. And then if you keep going a little bit more to the very right, you would have the next button. Like if you wanted, that would be a way you can go to the next edit field. Like right now we're in the name edit field. If I hit the next button, it would put me in the phone number edit field. And if I hit the next button again, it would put me in the email edit field or whatever. So that's how that, and you don't have to fill in all the fields, just the ones that you want. And then you just hit the save button at the end. So above the next button is the backspace button. So that would be if you messed up something, of course, you could erase it. And it used to be that if you pushed and held on the backspace, it deletes the entire everything in the field, like if you just want to start over. So on my new phone though, I noticed it doesn't really do that, so I'm sure there's another way to delete everything, but I haven't found what that is yet, but I could easily Google it if I wanted to ever clear out everything. But let me do it on this older phone and see if it deletes the entire. I'm just gonna tap and hold on the backspace.
Deleted. Backspace.
Okay, now let me see if it...
Editing name, window, edit contact. Show detail name, editing name. English, US QWERTY shown.
Yeah, so it looks like it did edit or it did delete everything. So
Symbols, shift on.
okay, yeah, and I forgot to say that
Capital F, capital C, capital X, capital C, Zulu.
when I'm in this text keyboard, right to the left of the Z is your shift button, just like it would be pretty close to on a regular keyboard.
Shift on.
But like I said, the first letter of the name is already capitalized there for you. But like if you were writing a password or something, of course you know that sometimes there are random capital letters in different places and stuff like that, so you need to use the shift button for that, because the phone isn't going to be able to guess that kind of thing. So I'm going to put somebody else's name in here though.
Capital S, Sierra. Capital D, Delta.
Let's do Deb. So
Capital D, Delta.
D Delta. So I'm gonna
D,
double tap on that.
R, Romeo, E, Echo.
E.
Space bar.
Oops.
C, Charlie. B, Victor. E, Bravo.
B.
B.
Double tap that. Okay. Let me see. Space.
C, Charlie. B, G, B, T, Rob, space bar.
Deb. What can her last name be? Deb. Let's see. Hill. So.
Capital G, Golf.
So since I did the space bar, it assumed I'm gonna type somebody's last name, and it's already gonna capitalize this letter. So I'm gonna find the H here.
Capital H.
H.
O. Awesome.
Now I'm going to make a mistake deliberately. So instead of H-I-L-L, I'm going to do H-O.
O. B. Bravo. N. November. J. K. Q. L. Lima.
L. So we're pretending that I didn't notice that I made that mistake right in the middle of the word there. So now I'm going to show you how to find or how to edit your things here. So I'm gonna look at the command really quick here that I wrote down, because I'm used to doing it the old school way again. Come on. Yeah. So the new and improved way to go to the reading controls is to do a 3-finger swipe, either up or down. So I'm just going to do a 3-finger swipe down. Okay, and it said characters, so yours would probably say something different, but that's where I was last on characters, which is actually where I want to be, but I'm going to just show you what the rest of them are. So I'm going to do another 3-finger swipe down. Words. So paragraphs. So that's if you wanted to move by paragraph. Headings if you wanted to move by headings. Controls if you wanted to just go from one control to. And then after that is links. Then after that is speech rate, where you would control the speed of your phone. And then we're back to characters. Okay, so now I'm going to do a swipe up to go the other way. So it will be rate, because that's what we said right before characters. So instead of having to keep swiping down several times, I can just go backward the other way in the list, like in reverse order now, to get back to the speech rate. Okay, now if I want to manipulate the speech rate, because that's what's selected now, so...
Show toolbar functions. Backspace.
Oops. So now I do a one finger swipe up or down to make the rate slower or faster.
Speech rate
51%.
51%. Speech rate 46%.
46% because I'm swiping down, so it's getting slower.
Speech rate 42%.
42%, but I want to put it back to where it was now, so I'm going to swipe up.
Speech rate 46%. Speech rate 51%. Speech rate 56%.
56%. Okay. So now we're going to do a three finger swipe down.
Characters.
And we should be on characters. So let me now do a single swipe down and see what it says.
Capital B. Bravo. A. Alpha. C. Charlie. K. Kilo. S. Sierra.
Okay, so what it's doing, it's spelling out the backspace because that's the key that I had accidentally selected here. So it's just going to spell out whatever, wherever you are. Like if you're in the middle of a message and you want to know what was that word, I couldn't hear what that word was. Yeah, I think I'll do another video where I actually go into a text message to illustrate all of this better. But for now, I'm just going to quickly show you how to
X-ray, S-A, Alpha.
Shoot, because now I can do this easily, but to explain what I'm doing is trickier. But I'm going to go back up above my keyboard,
Select groups, window, edit content. Email.
and find
Add phone
the
number,
field I
phone
want.
number. Phone. Select phone number type. Show detail name
So
field.
I'm swiping left here,
Deb Hall name.
Deb Hall. Okay,
English, US QWERTY shown.
so now we're there. So I'm going to now do a swipe down and see what I get. Okay, so it gave me a click, so that kind of means it's at the end of my edit field. So I bet if I do a swipe up, it will say L, because that was the last letter of the person's name. Deb, it should have been Hill, but I put. Okay, so I'm going to do a swipe up and see if it says L.
L. Lima.
Yep. So now if I do it, it will be another L.
O. Oscar.
O. Okay, because it was already on the last L, so then it did another L, and now I'm at the O, and this is the letter I want to correct. So I will I forget now if I do the backspace here, will it back erase that letter? I think it will, but
Period.
let me
Windows,
just
Samsung,
see.
Next. Period. Next.
Oh, come on,
Back
backspace.
window navigation bar.
Come
Next.
on.
Windows,
Ah.
backspace. H deleted.
Oh, nope, I was wrong. It deleted the H, so I'm going to replace that H.
Capital D. Delta. Capital G. Golf. Capital H. Hotel. Capital.
Okay, so I discovered something important that it's better to go to the beginning of the person's name. We were starting at the end because that's where it put me at first, at the end of the edit field. But a better thing to do, so I'm going to
L. End of field. Lima.
Okay, so now we're at the end of the field, but what we should do is go all the way to the beginning of the field. So I'm going to just do several swipes up till I get to the beginning. So we're going to go backward through the name, Deb Hall.
L. L. O. Capital H. Space. D. D. Capital D. Beginning of field. Delta.
Okay, so now we're at the beginning of the edit field. So now I'm going to swipe down until I get to that O that I don't want. So
Capital
D, E, B, space,
Capital H.
H,
O.
O, and that is what I want to erase. So if we go at it from this way, now it will be on the letter that it's going to erase, which is why it's better to start at the beginning of the edit field and go forward, because then you're right on the letter in question. So I don't want this O, so I'm going to hit the backspace.
Backspace. O deleted.
There, now I'm going to type the I, which is what I do want.
T. Tank. Y. Yankee. U. Uniform. I. India.
So I was just finding it. Now I found it, so I'm going to double tap it.
I.
So now if I wanted to make sure of what I typed, I can keep swiping up to get to the beginning of the...
I. Capital H. Hotel. D. E. Capital D. Beginning of field.
So D,
Capital D. Delta.
E.
X. D. Bravo. Space. Capital H. I. L. L. End of field. Lima.
Okay, So let me go back to the beginning again because I want to just show you something really quick. So yeah, we're on characters, but if I do a 3-finger swipe down,
Words.
we can read this by words instead. So, Deb,
Hill. End of field.
hill, end of field. Or we can swipe up now because we're at the end, so we can go back to the beginning.
Hill.
Hill,
Deb.
Deb. So that's how you can, if you were writing something longer, instead of swiping through the whole thing letter by letter, you can do it by word. And then once you get to the, like, we knew that the first name was right, Deb. So we can go to
Hill. End of field.
hill, and if there was something we wanted to change in the word hill now, I could do my 3-finger swipe up
Actions.
to go,
Spell check.
oh,
Actions.
no, not 3-finger swipe up,
Characters. Words.
yeah, but I was on words, so characters, for some reason it's not saying, it's just being glitchy and not saying characters for some reason when I was on characters, but we can swipe down to words,
Words.
characters, and now I could read this last name by character.
L. Leap. L. F. Foxtrot.
Whoops, now I accidentally went into my keyboard, but you get the idea there, of how that would work. I just got a little bit in too big of a hurry, but we will do more videos on this. Like next time I'll probably do an actual text message, which will be longer, but this video is getting long enough for now, so I hope that wasn't too confusing, but let me know in the comments if you would prefer that I would do something different in future, or whatever. If you have something you want me to cover, just let me know, and be sure to like and subscribe, because that really helps more people to see, and then you'll know when the next video comes out and whatnot. And I really thank you for your support, and we'll see you next time.